knocks?
One from the Lord Stanley.
Cannot my Lord Stanley sleep these tedious nights?
So it appears by what I have to say. Well, first he commends him to your noble self.
What then?
Then certifies your lordship that this night he dreamt the boar had raised it off his helm. Therefore he sends to know your lordship's pleasure, if you will presently take horse with him, and with all speed post with him toward the north, to shun the danger that his soul divines.
Go, fellow, go. Return unto thy lord. Tell him that his fears are shallow without instance. And for his dreams, I wonder he's so simple to trust the mockery of unquiet slumbers. To fly the boar before the boar pursues were to incense the boar to follow us, and make pursuit where he did mean no chase. Go, bid your master rise and come to me, and we will both together to the tower, where he will see the boar will use us kindly.
I'll go, my lord, and tell him what you say.
Many good morrows to my noble lord.
Good morrow, Catesby. You are early stirring. What news in this our tottering state?
It is a reeling world indeed, my lord, and I believe will never stand upright till Richard wear the garland of the realm.
How wear the garland? Dost thou mean the crown?
Aye, my good lord.
I'll have this crown of mine cut from my shoulders before I'll see the crown so foul misplaced. But canst thou guess that he doth aim at it?
Aye, my lord, and hopes to find you forward upon his party for the gain thereof. And thereupon he sends you this good news, that this same very day your enemies, the kindred of the Queen, must die at Pomfret.
Indeed, I have no mourner for that news, because they have been still my adversaries.
But that I'll give my voice on Richard's side to bar my master's heirs in true descent, God knows I will not do it to the death.
'Tis a vile thing to die, my gracious lord, when men are unprepared, and look not for it.
Oh, monstrous, monstrous. And so falls it out with Rivers, Vaughan, Grey. So it will do with some men else that think themselves as safe as thou and I, who, as thou knowest, are dear to princely Richard and to Buckingham.
And the princes both make high account of you, for they account his head upon the bridge.
I know they do, and I have well deserved it. Come on, where is your boar spear, man? Fear you the boar and go so unprovided?
My good lord, good morrow. Good morrow, Catesby. The lords of Pomfret, when they rode from London, were jocund, and supposed their states were sure. But yet you see how soon the day are cast. This sudden stab of rancour I misdoubt. Pray God, I say, I prove a needless coward. Watch we toward the tower. The day is spent.
Come, have with you.
Well met, my lord. I'm glad to see your honor.
I thank thee, good Sir John, with all my heart. Oh, I am in your debt for your last exercise. Come the next Sabbath, and I will content you.
I'll wait upon your lordship.
What, talking with the priests, Lord Chamberlain? Your friends at Pomfret, they do need the priest. Your honor hath no shriving work in hand.
Nay, good faith, and when I met this holy man, the men you speak of came into my mind. What, go you toward the tower?
I do, my lord, but long I cannot stay there. I shall return before your lordship thence.
Nay, like enough, for I stay dinner there.
And supper too, although thou know'st it not.
Come, will you go?
We wait upon your lordship.
Sir Richard Ratcliffe, let me tell thee this. Today shalt thou behold a subject die for truth, for duty, and for loyalty.
God bless the prince from all the back of you, and not you out of damned bloodsuck.
You live that shall cry woe for this hereafter.
Dispatch. The limit of your lives is out.
Pomfret, oh thou bloody prison, fatal and ominous to noble peers. Within the guilty closure of thy walls, Richard II here was hacked to death. And for more slander to thy dismal seat, We give to thee our guiltless blood to drink.
Make haste. The hour of death is expiate.
Come, Grey. Come, Boar. Farewell until we meet again in heaven.
Now, noble peers, the cause why we are met is to determine of the coronation. In God's name, speak, when is the royal day?
Is all things ready for the royal time?
It is, and once but nomination.
Tomorrow, then, we judge a happy day.
Who knows the Lord Protector's mind herein? Who is most inward with the noble Duke?
Your Grace, we think, should soonest know his mind.
We know each other's faces. For our hearts, he knows no more of mine than I of yours. Lord Hastings, you and he are near enough.
I thank his grace, I know he loves me well. But for his purpose in the coronation, I have not sounded him, nor he delivered his gracious pleasure any way therein. But you, my honourable lords, may name the time, and in the Duke's behalf I'll give my voice, which I presume he'll take in gentle cause.
In happy time, here comes the Duke himself.
My noble lords and cousins all, good morrow. I have been long a sleeper, but I trust my absence doth neglect no great design, which by my presence might have been concluded.
Had you not come upon your cue, my lord, William Lord Hastings had pronounced your part. I mean your voice for crowning of the king.
Then my Lord Hastings, no man might be bolder. His lordship knows me well and loves me well.
I would your grace...
My Lord of Ely, when I was last in Holborn, I saw good strawberries in your garden there. I do beseech you, send for some of them.
Marry and will, your Grace, with all my heart.
Cousin of Buckingham, a word with you.
Catesby hath sounded Hastings in our business, and finds the testy gentleman so hot that he will lose his head ere give consent his master's child, as worshipfully he terms it, shall lose the royalty of England's crown.
Withdraw yourself a while. I'll go with you.
We have not yet set down this day of triumph. Tomorrow, in my judgment, is too sudden, for I myself am not so well provided as else I would be were the day prolonged.
Where is my lord, the Duke of Gloucester? I've sent for these strawberries.
His grace looks cheerfully and smooth this morning. There's some conceit or other likes him well, when that he bids good morrow with such spirit. I think there's never a man alive in Christendom can lesser hide his love or hate than he, for by his face straight shall you know his heart.
What of his heart perceive you in his face, by any likelihood he showed today?
Marry, that with no man here he is offended, for were he had shown it in his face.
I pray you all, tell me what they deserve, that to conspire my death with devilish plots of damned witchcraft, and that have prevailed against my body with their hellish charms.
The tender love I bear your grace, my lord, makes me most forward in this princely presence to doom the offenders, whosoe'er they be. I say, my lord, they have deserved death.
Then be your eyes the witness of their evil. Look, how I am bewitched! My arm is like a blasted sapling withered up. And this is Edward's wife, that monstrous witch, consorted with that harlot strumpet Shaw, that with their witchcraft thus have marked me.
If they have done this...
Thou protector of this damned strumpet, talk'st thou to me of ifs? Thou art a traitor! Off with his head. Now! By St. Paul, I swear I shall not die until I see the same. Lovell and Ratcliffe, look that it be done. The rest that love me, rise and follow me.
Woe, woe for England. Not a whit for me, for I too fond might have prevented this. Stanley did dream the boar did raise our helms, and I did scorn it and disdain to fly. 3 times today my footcloth horse did stumble and started when he looked upon the tower, as loath to bear me to the slaughterhouse. Now I need the priest that spake to me.
Come, dispatch. The Duke could be at dinner. Make a short shrift, he longs to see your head.
Oh, bloody Richard.
Miserable England. I prophesy the fearfulest time to come that ever wretched age hath looked upon.
Come, dispatch. It's bootless to exclaim.
Come, lead me to the block. Bear him my head. They smile on me who shortly will be dead.
Now, after dinner, Cousin Buckingham, hie you towards Guildhall with all post. There, at your meetest vantage of the time, infer the bastardy of Edward's children. Moreover, urge his hateful luxury and bestial appetite in change of lust, which stretched down to their servants' daughters' wives. Nay, for a need, thus far come near my person. Tell them, when that my mother went with child of that insatiate Edward, noble York, my princely father, then had wars in France, and by true computation of the time, found that the issue was not his begot, which well appeared in his lineaments, being nothing like the noble Duke, my father. Yet, touch this sparingly, as to afar off, because, my lord, you know, my mother lives.
Doubt not, my lord. I'll play the orator as if the golden fee for which I plead were for myself. And so, my lord, adieu.
If you thrive well in this, bring them to Baynard's Castle. There shall you find me, well accompanied with reverend fathers and well-learned bishops.
I go. And towards 3 or 4 o'clock, look for the news of the Guildhall of Thorns.
Now will I take some privy order to draw the brats of Clarence out of sight, and to give order that no manner person have any time recourse unto the princes.
Here is the indictment of the good Lord Hastings, which in a set hand fairly is engrossed that it may be today read o'er in Paul's. And mark how well the sequel hangs together. 11 hours have I spent to write it over, for yesternight by Catesby was it sent me. The precedent was full as long a doing, and yet within these 5 hours Hastings lived, untainted, unexamined, free, at liberty. Oh, here's a good world the while. Who is so gross that cannot see this palpable device, Yet who so bold but says he sees it not? Bad is the world, and all will come to naught when such ill-dealing must be seen in thought.
How now, what say the citizens?
No, by the Holy Mother of our Lord, the citizens are mum. Say not a word.
Well, touched you the bastardy of Edward's children?
I did, and his contract by deputy in France. Insatiate greediness of his desire, and his enforcement of the city wives. His tyranny for trifles, his own bastardy as being got, your father then in France, and his resemblance being not like the Duke. Withal, I did infer your lineaments being the right idea of your father, both in your form and nobleness of mind. Laid open all your victories in Scotland, discipline in war, wisdom in peace. Indeed, left nothing fitting for your purpose untouched or slightly handled in discourse. And when my oratory drew towards end, I bid them that did love their country's good cry, God save King Richard, England's royal king.
And did they so?
No, so God help me, they spake not a word. But like dumb statues or breathing stones, stared each on other and looked deadly pale. Which when I saw, I reprehended them, and asked the mayor what meant this wilful silence. His answer was, the people were not used to be spoke to, but by the recorder. He then was urged to tell my tale again. Thus saith the Duke, thus hath the Duke inferred, but nothing spake in warrant from himself. But when he had done, some followers of mine own at lower end of the hall hurled up their caps, and some 10 voices cried, God save King Richard. And thus I took the vantage of those few. Thanks, gentle citizens and friends, quoth I, this general applause and cheerful shout argues your wisdom and your love to Richard. And even here brake off and came away.
Tongueless blocks were they.
Would they not speak?
Will not the mayor then and his brethren come?
The mayor is here at hand. Now intend some fear. Be not you spoke with, but by mighty suit. Look, you've got a prayer book in your hand. And stand between two churchmen. Good, my lord. For on that ground I'll make a holy descant. And be not easily won to our requests. Play the maid's part, still answer nay, and take it. Go up to the ledge, the Lord Mayor knocks. Welcome, my lord. I dance attendance here. I think the Duke will not bespoke with all. Oh, now, Catesby, what says his Grace to my request?
He doth entreat your Grace to visit him tomorrow or next day. He is within with two right reverend fathers divinely bent on meditation.
Return, good Catesby, to the virtuous Duke. Tell him myself, the Mayor and Aldermen in deep designs, in matter of great moment, are come to have some conference with his Grace.
I'll signify so much unto him straight.
Ah, my lord, this prince is not an Edward. He is not lolling on a lewd love bed, but on his knees of mediation. Not dallying with a brace of courtesans, but meditating with two deep divines. Happy were England would this virtuous prince take on himself the sovereignty thereof. But sure, I fear we shall not win him to it.
Marry, God defend his Grace should he say us nay.
As I fear he will. Look, here Catesby comes again. Now, Catesby, what says his Grace?
He wonders to what end you have assembled such troops of citizens to visit him, his Grace not being warned thereof before. He fears, my lord, you mean no good to him.
Sorry I am, my noble cousin should suspect me that I mean no good to him. By heaven, we come to him in perfect love, and so once more return and tell his Grace. When holy and devout religious men are at their bees, 'tis much to draw them thence. So sweet is zealous contemplation.
Nos et eos, qui nos oderant, confudisti, Deo,
See where his Grace stands between two clergymen.
Two props of virtue for a Christian prince to stay him from the fall of vanity. Famous Plantagenet, most virtuous prince, lend favourable ear to our requests, and pardon us the interruption of thy devotion and right Christian zeal.
My lord, there needs no such apology. I do beseech your Grace to pardon me, who, earnest in the service of my God, deferred the visitation of my friends. But, leaving this, what is your Grace's pleasure?
Even that, I hope, which pleaseth God above, and all good men of this ungoverned isle.
I do suspect I have done some offence, which seems disgracious in the city's eye, and that you come to reprehend my ignorance.
You have, my lord. Would it might please your Grace on our entreaties to amend your fault?
Else wherefore breathe I in a Christian land?
No, then. It is your fault that you resign the supreme seat, the throne majestical, the sceptred office of your ancestors, your state of fortune and your due of birth, to the corruption of a blemished stock, which, to recure, we heartily solicit your gracious self to take on you the charge and kingly government of this, your land, not as protector, steward, substitute, or lowly factor for another's gain, but as successively from blood to blood, your right of birth, your empery, your own. For this, consorted with the citizens, your very worshipful and loving friends, and by their vehement instigation, to this just cause come I to move your Grace.
I cannot tell if to depart in silence or bitterly to speak in your reproof. Your love deserves my thanks, but my desert unmeritable shuns your high request. First, if all obstacles were smoothed away, and that my path were even to the crown, yet so much is my poverty of spirit, so mighty and so many my defects, that I had rather hide me from my greatness, than in my greatness covet to be hid, and in the vapour of my glory smothered. But, God be thanked, there is no need of me. The royal tree hath left us royal fruit, which, mellowed with the stealing hours of time, will well become the seat of majesty, and make no doubt us happy in this reign. On him I lay that you would lay on me the right and fortune of his happy stars, which God defend that I should wring from him.
My lord, this argues conscience in your grace, but the respects thereof are nice and trivial, all circumstances well considered. You say that Edward is your brother's son. So say we too. But not by Edward's wife. No. Alas! In an unlawful bed he got this Edward, whom our manners call the prince. Then, good my lord, take to your royal self this proffered benefit of dignity.
Do, good my lord, your citizens entreat you.
Refuse not, mighty lord, this proffered love.
Oh, make them joyful, grant their lawful suits.
I do beseech you, take it not amiss. I cannot, nor I will not yield to you.
If you refuse it, as in love and zeal love to depose the child your brother's son, yet no, where you accept our suit or no, your brother's son shall never reign our king. But we will plant some other in the throne to the disgrace and downfall of your house. And in this resolution here we leave you. Come, citizens, zoons, we will entreat no more.
Do not swear, my lord of Buckingham.
Though call him again, sweet prince, accept their suit. If you deny them all, the land will rue it.
Will you enforce me to a world of cares? Call them again.
My lords!
Cousin of Buckingham, and sage, grave men, since you will buckle fortune on my back to bear her burden, whether I will or no, I must have patience to endure the load. But God, he knows, and you may partly see how far I am from the desire of this.
God bless your grace. We see it and will say it.
Then I salute you with this royal title. Long live King Richard, England's worthy king. Tomorrow may it please you to be crowned.
Even when you please, for you will have it so.
Tomorrow, then, we shall attend your grace. And so, most joyfully, we take our leave.
Come, let us do our holy work again. Farewell, good cousins. Farewell, gentle friends.
Daughter, well met.
God give your graces both a happy and a joyful time of day.
As much to you, good sister. Whither away?
No further than the Tower. And as I guess upon the like devotion as yourselves, congratulate the gentle princes there.
Kind sister, thanks. We'll enter all together. Master Lieutenant, pray you, by your leave, how doth the prince and my young son of York?
Right well, dear madam. By your patience, I may not suffer you to visit them. The king hath strictly charged the contrary.
The king? Who's that?
I mean, the Lord Protector.
The Lord protect him from that kingly title. Hath he set bounds between their love and me?
Then bring me to their sights. I'll bear thy blame, and take thy office from thee on my peril.
No, madam, no. I may not leave it so. I am bound by oath, and therefore pardon me.
Come, madam, come. You must straight to Westminster, there to be crowned Richard's royal queen.
Cut my laces under, that my pent heart may have some scope to beat.
Dear, good dear. Mother, how fares your grace?
Oh, Dorset, speak not to me, get thee gone. Death and destruction dogs thee at thy heels. Thy mother's name is ominous to children. If thou wilt outstrip death, go cross the seas and join with Richmond from the reach of hell. Go hie thee from this slaughterhouse, lest thou increase the number of the dead.
Full of wise care is this your counsel, madam.
Take all the swift advantage of the hours. Be not 10 tardy by unwise delay. Come, madam, come. I in all haste was sent.
And I with all unwillingness will go. Oh, would to God that the inclusive verge of golden metal that must round my brow were red-hot steel to sear me to the brains. Anointed let me be with deadly venom, and die ere men can say, God save the Queen.
Go. Go, poor soul. I envy not thy glory. To feed my humour, wish thyself no harm.
No. Why? When he that is my husband now came to me as I followed Henry's course, this was my wish. Be thou, quoth I, accursed for making me so young, so old a widow. When thou weddest, let sorrow haunt thy bed, and be thy wife, if any be so, made more miserable by the life of thee than thou hast made me by my dear lord's death. Within so small a time, my woman's heart grossly grew captive to his honey words, and proved the subject of mine own soul's curse. For never yet 1 hour in his bed did I enjoy the golden dew of sleep, but with his timorous dreams was still awaked. Besides, he hates me for my father Warwick, and will no doubt shortly be rid of.
Go thou to Richard, and good angels tend thee. Go thou to Richmond, and good fortune guide thee. Go thou to sanctuary, good thoughts possess thee. I to my grave, where peace and rest lie with me.
Stay, yet look back with me unto the tower. Pity, you ancient stones, those tender babes, whom envy hath immured within your walls. Rough cradle for such pretty little ones. Rude, ragged nurse, old sullen playfellow for tender princes. Whose my babies well? So foolish sorrow bids your stones farewell.
Stand all apart.
Cousin of Buckingham, give me your hand.
My gracious sovereign.
Thus high, by thy advice and thy assistance, is King Richard seated. But shall we wear these glories for a day, or shall they last and we rejoice in them?
Still live they, and forever let them last.
Ah, Buckingham, now do I play the touch to try if thou be current gold indeed. Young Edward lives. Think now what I would speak.
Say on, my loving lord.
Why, Buckingham, I say I would be king.
Why, so you are, my thrice renowned lord.
Ah, am I king? 'Tis so. But Edward lives.
True, noble prince.
True, noble prince. Cousin, I was not wont to be so dull. Shall I be plain? I wish the bastards dead, and I would have it suddenly performed. What sayst thou now? Speak suddenly, be brief.
Your grace may do your pleasure.
Tut, tut, all eyes, thy kindness freezes. Say, have I thy consent that they shall die?
Give me some little breath, some pause, dear lord, before I positively speak in this. I will resolve you herein presently.
The king is angry. See, he gnaws his lip.
I will converse with iron-witted fools and unrespected boys. None are for me that look into me with considerate eyes. High-reaching Buckingham grows circumspect. Boy! Knowst thou not any whom corrupting gold will tempt into a close exploit of death?
I know a discontented gentleman whose humble means match not his haughty spirit. Gold were as good as 20 orators and will no doubt tempt him to anything.
What is his name?
His name, my lord, is Tyrrell.
I partly know the man. Go call him hither, boy. The deep, revolving, witty Buckingham no more shall be the neighbour to my counsels. Hath he so long held out with me untired, and stops he now for breath? Well, be it so. How now, Lord Stanley, what's the news with you?
No, my loving lord. The Marquis Dorset, as I hear, is fled to Henry Richmond in the parks where he abides.
Catesby, come hither. Rumour it abroad that Anne, my wife, is very grievous sick. I will take order for her keeping close. Well, look how thou dream'st. I say again, give out that Anne, my wife, is sick and like to die. About it! I must be married to my brother's daughter, or else my kingdom stands on brittle glass. Murder her brothers and then marry her. Uncertain way of gain. But I am in so far in blood that sin will pluck on sin. Tear falling pity dwells not in this eye. Is thy name Tyrrell?
James Tyrrell, and your most obedient subject.
Art thou indeed?
Prove me, my gracious lord.
Darest thou resolve to kill a friend of mine?
Please you, but I had rather kill 2 enemies.
Why, then thou hast it. 2 deep enemies, foes to my rest and my sweet sleep's disturbers, are they that I would have thee deal upon. Tyrrell, I mean those bastards in the tower.
Let me have open means to come to them, and soon I'll rid you of fear of them.
Ah, now thou sings sweet music. Hark, Tyrrell. Go by this token. Rise and lend thine ear. There is no more but so. Say it is done, and I will love thee, and prefer thee for it.
I will dispatch it straight.
My lord, I have considered in my mind the late request that you did sound me, and...
Well, let that rest. Dorset is fled to Richmond.
I hear the news, my lord.
Richmond is your wife's son, Stanley. Look unto it.
My lord, I claim the gift, my due by promise, for which your honour and your faith is pawned. The earldom of Hereford and the movables which you have promised I shall possess.
Stanley, look to your wife. If she convey letters to Richmond, you shall answer it.
What says your highness to my just request?
I do remember me. Henry VI did prophesy that Richmond should be king when Richmond was a little peevish boy. A king. Perhaps.
My lord.
How chance the prophet could not at that time have told me, I being by. that I should kill him.
My lord, your promise for the earldom.
Richmond. A bard of Ireland told me once, I shall not live long. After I saw Richmond.
My lord.
Aye? What's o'clock?
I am thus bold to put your grace in mind of what you promised me.
Well, but what's o'clock?
Upon the stroke of 10.
Then let it strike.
Why let it strike?
Because that like a jack thou keeps the stroke betwixt thy begging and my meditation. I am not in the giving vein today.
Well, then resolve me whether you will or no.
Thou troublest me. I am not in the vein.
And is it thus? Repays he my deep service with such contempt? Made I him king for this? Oh, let me think on Hastings, and be gone to Richmond while my fearful head is on.
That tyrannous and bloody act is done. The most arch deed of piteous massacre that ever yet this land was guilty of. Dighton and Forrest, whom I did suborn to do this piece of ruthful butchery, albeit they were fleshed villains, bloody dogs, melting with tenderness and mild compassion, wept like to children in their death's sad story. Oh, thus, quoth Dighton, lay the gentle babes. Thus, quoth Forrest, girdling one another within their alabaster innocent arms. Their lips were four red roses on a stalk, which in their summer beauty kissed each other. A book of prayers on their pillow lay, which once, quoth Forrest, almost changed my mind. But, oh, the devil! There the villain stopped, when Dighton thus told on. We smothered the most replenished sweet work of nature that from the prime creation ere she framed. Hence both are gone. With conscience and remorse they could not speak. And so I left them both, to bear this tidings to the bloody king. All health, my sovereign lord.
Kind Tyrrell, am I happy in thy news?
If to have done the thing you gave in charge beget your happiness, be happy then, for it is done.
But didst thou see them dead?
I did, my lord.
And buried, gentle Tyrrell?
The chaplain of the tower hath buried them, but where to say the truth I do not know.
Come to me soon, Tyrrell, and after supper, when thou shalt tell the process of their death. Meantime, but think how I may do thee good and be inheritor of thy desire. Farewell till then.
I humbly take my leave.
The son of Clarence have I pent up close. His daughter have I meanly matched in marriage. The sons of Edward sleep in Abraham's bosom. And Anne, my wife, hath bid this world good night. Now, for I know that Henry Richmond aims at young Elizabeth, my brother's daughter, and by that knot looks proudly on the crown. To her go I, a jolly, thriving wooer.
Good or bad news that thou comest in so bluntly?
Most mighty sovereign. Off the western coast rideth a puissant navy. To our shores throng many doubtful, hollow-hearted friends, unarmed and unresolved to beat them back. 'Tis thought that Richmond is their admiral. And there they hull, expecting but the aid of Buckingham to welcome them ashore.
Some Lightfoot men post to the Duke of Norfolk. Ratcliffe yourself, or Catesby, where is he?
Here, my good lord.
Catesby, fly to the Duke.
I will, my
Ratcliffe,
lord,
come
more
hither.
convenient haste.
Post to Salisbury, when thou comest thither. Dull, unmindful villain, why stayest thou here and goest not to the Duke?
First, mighty liege, tell me your highness' pleasure.
Ah.
What from your grace I shall deliver to him.
Oh, true, good Catesby. Bid him levy straight the greatest strength and power that he can make, and meet me suddenly at Salisbury.
I go. What may it please you shall I do at Salisbury?
Why, what wouldst thou do there before I go?
Your highness told me I should post before.
My mind is changed. Now, Lord Stanley, what's the news with you?
None good, my lord, to please you with the hearing. Nor none so bad, but well may be reported.
Heyday, a riddle, neither good nor bad. Once more, what news?
Richmond is on the seas.
There, let him sink and be the seas on him, white-livered runagate.
What doth he there?
I know not, mighty sovereign, but by guess.
Well, as you guess.
Stirred up by Dorset, Buckingham, and Morton, he makes for England, here to claim the crown.
Is the chair empty? Is the sword unswayed? Is the king dead, the empire unpossessed? What heir of York is there alive but we? And who is England's king but great York's heir?
And tell me, what makes he on the seas?
Unless for that, my liege, I cannot guess.
Unless for that he comes to be your liege, you cannot guess wherefore the Welshman comes. Thou wilt revolt and fly to him, I fear.
No, my good lord, therefore mistrust me not.
Where be your power then to beat him back? Where be your tenants and your followers? Are they not now upon the western shore, safe conducting the rebels from their ships?
No, my good lord, my friends are in the north.
Oh, cold friends to me, what do they in the north when they should serve their sovereign in the west?
They have not been commanded, mighty king. Pleaseth your majesty to give me leave. I'll muster up my friends and meet your grace where and what time your majesty shall please.
Aye, thou wouldst be gone to join with Richmond, but I'll not trust thee.
No, mighty sovereign, you have no cause to hold my friendship doubtful. I never was, nor never shall be false.
Go then, and muster men. But leave behind your son, George Stanley. Look that your heart be firm, or else his head's assurance is but frail.
So deal with him, as I prove true to you.
My gracious sovereign! Now, in Devonshire, as I by friends am well advertised, Sir Edward Courtney and his elder brother, with many more confederates, are in arms.
Can I leave the Guildford in arms? My lord, the army of Great Buckingham, out on the arms! Nothing but songs of death. There, take out that. Do thou bring better news.
The news I have to tell your majesty is that by sudden floods and fall of waters, Buckingham's army is dispersed and scattered. And he himself wandered away alone. No man knows whither.
I cry you mercy. There, take my purse to cure that blow of thine.
My liege! The Duke of Buckingham is taken. That is the best news. That the Earl of Richmond, with a mighty power, is landed at Milford is colder news, but yet it must be told.
Away towards Salisbury. While we reason here, a royal battle might be won or lost. Someone take order Buckingham be brought to Salisbury. The rest, march on with me.
Will not King Richard let me speak with him?
No, my good lord. Therefore, be patient.
Hastings and Edward's children, Grey and Rivers. Holy King Henry and thy fair son Edward. Vaughan and all that have miscarried by underhand, corrupted, foul injustice. If that thy moody, discontented souls do through the clouds behold this present hour, even for revenge mock my destruction. This is All Souls' Day, Ratcliffe, is it not?
It is.
Why then, All Souls' Day is my body's doomsday. This is the day which in King Edward's time I wished might fall on me when I was found false to his children and his wife's allies. This is the day wherein I wished to fall by the false faith of him whom most I trusted. That high all-seer which I dallied with hath turned my feigned prayers on my head, and given in earnest what I begged in jest. Thus doth he force the swords of wicked men to turn their own points in their master's bosom. Thus Margaret's curse falls heavy on my neck, when he, quoth she, shall split thy heart with sorrow. Remember, Margaret was a prophetess. Come, shame. Wrong hath but wrong, and blame his due of blame.
Sir Christopher, tell Richmond this from me, that in the sty of the most deadly boar, my son George Stanley is franked up in hold. If I revolt, off goes young George's head. The fear of that holds off my present aid. Well, get thee gone, commend thy lord. But tell me, where is princely Richmond now?
Near Tamworth, as I guess, my noble.
Well, hie thee to thy lord. I kiss his hand. My letter will resolve him of my mind. Farewell.
Thus far into the bowels of the land have we marched on without impediment. And here receive we from our father Stanley lines of fair comfort and encouragement. The wretched, bloody, and usurping boar that spoiled your summer fields and fruitful vines is now even in the centre of this isle, near to the town of Leicester, as we learn. From Tamworth thither is but one day's march. In God's name, cheerly on, courageous friends, to reap the harvest of perpetual peace by this one bloody trial of sharp war.
Every man's conscience is 1,000 men to fight against this guilty homicide.
I doubt not but his friends will come to us.
He hath no friends. But what are friends for fear, which in his dearest need will fly from him?
All for our vantage, then in God's name march. True hope is swift and flies with swallows' wings. Kings it makes gods, and meaner creatures kings.
Here, pitch our tent. Even here in Bosworth Field. My Lord of Surrey, why look you so sad?
My heart is 10 times lighter than my looks.
My Lord of Norfolk?
Here, most gracious liege.
Norfolk, we must have knocks, sir, must we not?
We must both give and take, my loving lord.
Here, pitch my tent. Here will I lie tonight. But where tomorrow? My lord's one for that. Who hath described the number of the traitors?
6,000 or 7,000 is their utmost power.
Ha! Why, our battalion trebles that account. Besides, the king's name is a tower of strength, which they upon the adverse faction want. Up with my tent! Come, noble gentlemen, let us survey the vantage of the ground. Let's lack no discipline, make no delay. For lords, tomorrow is a busy day.
Weary sun hath made a golden set, and by the bright track of his fiery car gives token of a goodly day tomorrow. Sir William Brandon, you shall bear my standard. Give me some ink and paper in my tent. I'll draw the form and model of our battle. Where is Lord Stanley quartered, do you know?
Unless I have mistaken his colours much, his regiment lies half a mile at least south of the mighty power of the king.
If, without peril, it be possible, sweet Blunt, make some good means to speak with him, and give him from me this most needful note.
On my life, my lord, I'll undertake it. And so God give you quiet rest tonight.
Good night, good Captain Blunt. Come, gentlemen, let us consult upon tomorrow's business. Into my tent, the dew is raw and cold.
What is 'clock?
It's supper time, my lord. It's 9 o'clock.
I will not sup tonight. Give me some ink and paper. What is my beaver easier than it was? And all my armour laid into my tent.
It is, my liege. And all things are in readiness.
Good Norfolk, hie thee to thy charge. Use careful watch. Choose trusty sentinels.
I go, my lord.
Stir with the lark tomorrow, gentle Norfolk.
I warrant you, my lord.
Catesby.
My lord.
Send out a pursuivant of arms to Stanley's regiment. Bid him bring his power before sun rising, lest his son George fall into the blind cave of eternal night. Fill me a bowl of wine. Give me a watch. Saddle White Surrey for the field tomorrow. Look that my staves be sound. They're not too heavy.
Ratcliffe! My lord.
Saw'st thou the melancholy Lord Northumberland?
Thomas the Earl of Surrey and himself, much about cockshut time, from troop to troop, went through the army cheering up the soldiers.
So I'm satisfied. Fill me a bowl of wine. I have not that alacrity of spirit nor cheer of mind that I was wont to have.
Set it down.
Is ink and paper ready?
Here's my lord.
Oh. Bid my guard watch. Leave me. Ratcliffe!
My lord.
About the mid of night, come to my tent and help to arm me.
Leave me, I say.
Fortune and victory sit on thy helm.
All comfort that the dark night can afford be to thy person, noble father-in-law. Tell me, how fares our loving mother?
I, by attorney, greet thee from thy mother, who prays continually for Richmond's good. So much for that. The silent hours steal on, and flaky darkness breaks within the east. In brief, for so the season bids us be, prepare thy battle early in the morning. I'll aid thee in this doubtful shock of arms, but on thy side I may not be too forward, lest being seen thy brother, tender George, be executed within his father's sight. Farewell. The leisure and the fearful time cuts off the ceremonious vows of love. Once more adieu. Be valiant, and speed well.
Good Lord, conduct him to his regiment. I'll strive with troubled thoughts to take a nap, lest leaden slumber weigh me down tomorrow when I should mount with wings of victory. Once more, good night, kind lords and gentlemen. O thou, whose captain I account myself, look on my forces with a gracious eye. Put in their hands thy bruising irons of wrath, that they may crush down with a heavy fall the usurping helmets of our adversaries. Make us thy ministers of chastisement, that we may praise thee in the victory. To thee I do commend my watchful soul, ere I let fall the windows of mine eyes. Sleeping and waking, O defend me still.
body by thee was punctured full of holes. Think on the tower and me, despair and die. Harry the Sixth bids thee despair and die.
Let me sit heavy on thy soul tomorrow. I that was washed to death with fulsome wine. Poor Clarence, by thy guile betrayed to death. Tomorrow in the battle, think on me, and fall thy edgeless sword, despair and die. Let me sit heavy in thy soul tomorrow. Rivers that died at Pomfret, despair and die.
Think on Grey and let thy soul despair. Think upon Paul, and with guilty fear let fall thy lance, despair and die.
Bloody and guilty, guiltily awake, and in a bloody battle end thy days. Think on Lord Hastings, despair and die.
Dream on thy cousins smothered in the tower. Thy nephew's soul bid thee despair and die.
Thy wife, that wretched Anne, thy wife, that never slept a quiet hour with thee, now fills thy sleep with perturbations. Tomorrow in the battle, think on me, and fall thy edgeless sword, despair and die.
First was I that helped thee to the crown, the last was I that felt thy tyranny. Oh, in the battle think on Buckingham and die in terror of thy guiltiness.
Soft. I did but dream. Oh, God, conscience, how thou dost afflict my soul. The lights burn blue. It is now dead midnight. Cold, fearful drops stand on my trembling flesh. What do I fear? Myself, there's none else near. Richard loves Richard. That is, I am I. Is there a murderer here? No. I am. Then fly! What, from myself? Who
great reason, lest I revenge. What? Myself upon myself. Like I love myself. Or any good that I myself have done unto myself. Oh, alas, I rather hate myself, or hateful deeds committed by myself. I am a villain. Yet I lie. I am not. Fool of thyself, speak well. Fool, do not flatter. My conscience hath 1,000 several tongues, and every tongue brings in a several tale, and every tale condemns me for a villain. All several sins, all used in each degree, thronged to the bar, crying all, guilty, guilty, I shall despair. There is no creature loves me, and if I die, no soul will pity me. Methought the souls of all that I had murdered came to my tent, and every one did threat tomorrow's vengeance on the head of Richard.
My lord! Who's there?
Radcliffe, my lord. 'Tis I. The early village cock hath twice done salutation to the morn. Your friends are up and buckle on their armour.
Oh, Radcliffe, I have dreamed a fearful dream. What think you? Will all our friends prove true?
No doubt, my lord.
Oh, Radcliffe, I fear. I fear.
Nay, good my lord. Be not afraid of shadows.
Oh, by the Apostle Paul. Shadows tonight have struck more terror to the soul of Richard than can the substance of 10,000 soldiers armed in proof and led by shallow Richmond. It is not yet near day. Come, go with me. And underneath our tents I'll play the eavesdropper to see if any mean to shrink from me.
Mercy, lords and watchful gentlemen, that you have ta'en a tardy sluggard here.
How have you slept, my lord? The sweetest sleep, and fairest boding dreams that ever entered in a drowsy head have I since your departure had, my lords. Methought their souls, whose bodies Richard murdered, came to my tent and cried on victory. Promise you, my heart is very jocund in the remembrance of so fair a dream. How far into the morning is it, lords? Upon the stroke of 4. Why, then 'tis time to arm and give direction. All that I have said, loving countrymen, the leisure and enforcement of the time forbids to dwell upon. Yet remember this. God and our good cause fight upon our side. Richard except, those whom we fight against had rather have us win than him they follow. For what is he they follow? Truly, gentlemen, a bloody tyrant and a homicide. Then if you fight against God's enemies, God will in justice ward you as his soldiers. If you do sweat to put a tyrant down, you sleep in peace, the tyrant being slain. Advance your standards, draw your willing swords. For me, the ransom of my bold attempt shall be this cold corpse on the earth's cold face. But if I thrive, the gain of my attempt, the least of you shall share his part thereof. Sound drums and trumpets boldly and cheerfully. God and St. George! Richmond and victory!
Shakespeare. Give me a calendar. Who saw the sun today?
Not I, my lord.
And he disdains to shine. Oh, by the book, he should have braved the east an hour ago. A black day will this be to somebody. Radcliffe!
My lord.
The sun will not be seen today. The sky doth lower and frown upon our army. I would these dewy tears were from the ground. Not shine today. My, what is that to me more than to Richmond? The self-same heaven that frowns upon me looks sadly upon him.
Oh no, my lord, the foe wants in the field.
Come, bustle, bustle! Comparison my horse. Call up Lord Stanley, bid him bring his power. And thus my battle shall be ordered. My forge shall be drawn out all in length, consisting equally of horse and foot. Our archers shall be placed in the midst. John, Duke of Norfolk, Thomas, Earl of Surrey, shall have the leading of the horse and foot. We will follow with the main battle, whose puissance on either side shall be well winged with our chiefest horse. This, and St. George to boot. What thinkst thou, Norfolk?
A good direction, warlike sovereign. This found I on my tent this morning.
Jockey of Norfolk, be not so bold, for Dixon, thy master, is bought and sold. A thing devised by the enemy. Come, gentlemen, every man unto his charge. Let not our babbling dreams affright our souls, for conscience is a word that cowards use, devised at first to keep the strong in awe. March on, join bravely, let us to it pell-mell. If not to heaven, then hand in hand to hell.
My lord.
Now, what says Lord Stanley? Will he bring his power?
My lord, he doth deny to come.
Off with his son, George's head.
My lord, the enemy has passed the marsh. After the battle, let George Stanley die.
A thousand hearts are strung within my bosom. Advance our standards. Fall upon our foes. Our ancient word of courage, fair St. George, inspire us with the spleen of fiery dragons. Upon them, victory sits on our helms.
For one, he's but a man, daring and opposite to every danger. His horse is slain and all on foot he fights, searching for Richmond in the fount of death. For rescue, fair lord, or else the day is lost. Ours! Ours! My kingdom for ours! No, my lord, I'll help you to a horse. Save! I have set my life upon a cast, and I will stand the hazard of the die. I think there be 6 Richmonds in the field. 5 have I slain today instead of him. A horse! A horse! My kingdom for all!
God, and your arms, be praised, victorious friends! The day is ours! The bloody dog is dead!
Courageous Richmond, well hast thou acquit thee. Lo, these long usurped royalties, from the dead temples of this bloody wretch have I plucked off, to grace thy brows withal. Wear it. Enjoy it. And make much of it.
Great God of heaven, say amen to all. But tell me, is young George Stanley living?
He is, my lord, and safe in Leicester town. Whither, if it please you, we may withdraw us.
Proclaim a pardon to the soldiers fled, that in submission will return to us. And then, as we have turned the sacraments, we will unite the white rose and the red. Smile, heaven, upon this fair conjunction, that long have frowned upon their enmity. England hath long been mad, and scarred herself. The brother blindly shed the brother's blood. The father rashly slaughtered his own son. The son compelled, being butcher to the sire. All this divided York and Lancaster. Oh, now let Richmond and Elizabeth, the true succeeders of each royal house, by God's fair ordinance conjoin together, and let their heirs, God, if thy will be so, enrich the time to come with smooth-faced peace, with smiling plenty and fair prosperous days. Now civil wounds are stopped, peace lives again, that she may long live here. God save